welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and in this episode I want to talk about 3 different games of Windows 10 Mobile again. And those games are going to be Blocky Snake, Gotham Defense and Zoom Doom HD. My name is Gerald. As always, I've got a couple of different things with me, which are of course a Bluetooth mouse like this one. I'm going to use a foldable keyboard, this keyboard here, as the Bluetooth keyboard I'm going to use in this episode, and of course everything will be done on my Lumia 950 XL, which is this smartphone, Windows 10 Mobile empowered with a desktop-like experience, Continuum more or less enabled, and of course we are going to have a Mozo cover at the back and a USB-C connector for this connection type, so we can more or less bring that over to the display dock, which is standing at the side, and the display dock itself is connected by HDMI to this TV. And like this we can use the smartphone more or less like a gaming console or maybe a computer, depending on what you want to use there, and have this desktop-like experience as you can see here, but it's all created by the smartphone. If you want to know more all about this, please have a look at the corner up there. And so let's start with the first game. The first game is going to be Blocky Snake. Blocky Snake is exactly what we are talking about, and or what you would think that this name more or less suggests. So I'm going to just start it in the background. Blocky should be enough if I would type all the letters at least. So let's see, there we are. And as you can see, Blocky Snake, there we go. I'm going to start it in the background. In the end, what it's all about is more or less a snake game. So it's more or less like the normal one you already know from your old Nokia phones, if you are that old or whatever. And it's in 3D in this case. And the 3D version of this is of course something that is pretty nice to look at and stuff like that. So in the end, you're going to run around with this little character there. As you can see, this is the gameplay space. It's not even just a rectangle or whatever. It's really done in a nice little way, and you can really play this with, for instance, the keyboard or on the touchscreen itself, depending on what you prefer. Both is fine in this case. And as you already can see, you are going to try to collect these apples or whatever that is meant to be, probably an apple. And you have to eat them, and then you're going to go get longer and longer. And what you can't do, of course, is you can't hit one of the other walls here. You can't hit one of the other snakes if there are some. And of course you should collect as many apples as you can. That's more or less the game. And you can't hit yourself neither, just to let you know if you don't know snake games. And let's start with the first game. I'm going to turn around to just be able to play for 30 seconds or something and not run out after the first 5 or something. It's not that hard to play, but I am not the biggest gamer in these kind of aspects at least. And especially not if I'm talking to you and doing stuff on the camera at the same time. That's a little bit more hardcore than just playing. So as you can see, the skins and stuff like that, we're not going to go through that and going to go into the settings for now. As you can see, you could buy some stuff. You can, for instance, get rid of this audio. There's not much audio going on here, so no music or something. But there are a couple of different sounds you could, for instance, get rid of. And of course, you could have a look at the helping menu, whatever, more or less who designed this, who created this game. Other than that, let's start. I'm just going to have to click with my mouse in the middle here, and now we are on the run. And as you can see, we can now use, for instance, our arrow keys on our keyboard to go around. And as you can see, it's behaving pretty nicely. A little bit delayed, of course, because of the Bluetooth connection. That's always a problem with this delayed input stuff, because Bluetooth is like that. So you will have to cope with that, but after a while you're getting the hang of it, and then it's fine. And or you're just doing what I did, running into some kind of wall and dying all the time. That's probably a good idea too. Anyway, so let's have a look. As you can see, it's sometimes pretty hard to predict when you will have to go to the side here, because of the angle you're looking at it. So you really have to get a little bit the hang of it, when to move around you can do that, as you can see. Probably not too hard to do, but still, you will have to find out the right angle for you and see that you, for instance, go a little bit before you are at the apple. Otherwise, you're not going to move in the right direction at the same time, or at the right time at least. And as you can see, we are getting closely or longer and longer in this case. And it's harder and harder to play the game, of course. And as mentioned before, don't run into anything else than apples. And we have an opponent, more or less, who is going to take apples from us too. So this is pretty interesting for this kind of game too. It's not like Thron or something. So in the end, you could, for instance, go with a Thron-like part. Okay, wrong button, sorry for that. Anyway, you could go into a Thron-like game, but it's not going to be like that. So they're not going to fight you in any kind of way, but they're just going to do their own thing, running around and doing stuff like that. It's, as you can see, a pretty nice game. It works pretty nicely on the smartphone. It's fun to play. It looks, yeah, pretty nice too, I would say. It's not bad. And if you like this kind of voxel style at least, you are going to have a great time with this small little game. I especially like the aesthetics of it because it's really a light-hearted one and not too easy to play, but not too hard to conquer anyway. And like that, that's always the best games in the end. The more people can play it, the better, and in the end, this one is really something everybody should be able to do in the end. With the input lag, it's a little bit harder. On your smartphone itself, of course, you wouldn't have this problem. Okay, so let's run around a little bit more. Sooner or later I'm going to die. And you can even go into this, but I'm not sure what this is all about because you're just going to die after you move then. So I'm not sure what that is. But in the end, it helps. As you can see, there is some kind of a level system because we have 40% of stuff going on. So if you're long enough, sometime in the future, you're going to win this. But try it out by yourself. I think it's a nice game and you should try it out. Link can be found down below in the commentary section or in the description of the video in the end. As you already know, you will have to go with a special kind of way to get to the parts. I'm going to link a video there too, how to do that and how you can still get these games. Yeah, and other than that, let's go to the next game. I'm going to close it down. Problem is, the next game is going to be one that can't be played in the Continuum mode, so no desktop mode, but we will have to go to the mirror mode. Mirror mode can be accessed by just going to your smartphone, for instance, and if you go into the app of Continuum then, which is of course in general a smart touchpad if you are in there, you can go to the upper right corner. There are this 3-point menu. If you go into that, you can go down a little. Okay, I just switched something I didn't want to. Hopefully it's going to be, yeah, now it's fine. And now you can go to the advanced settings and you can go to the mirror mode, this one. And as you can see, now we see everything that is going on the smartphone, on the big screen too. That's fine too. It's not exactly the same coolness factor or whatever, but it's fine. You can play it, and if you want to, do it like that. Even worse, the next game can be played with your mouse in the end, and with your keyboard probably too, I'm not sure, but you will only need your mouse in the end. But one problem there, the game is really hard to play if you're going to do that, because you will have to all the time, yeah, more or less throw the mouse around and press on different on-screen buttons. And that's not going to be a really viable thing to do. I'm going to use my smartphone to play this. You can still do that in mirror mode and even in the other one, but that's not really helpful because then it's a touchscreen versus a mouse, and the mouse will always win that race. Anyway, let's go there. It's called Gotham, so it's about Batman in, yeah, a little bit at least. And yeah, it's created in Unity, and as you already can see, nope, thank you, don't do that. That's on me here, I clicked the wrong button. Anyway, as you can see, you will see the same thing on the big screen then, like I am on the smaller one here. And I'm just going to click on play, and as you can see there are a couple of different levels you can play here, with bosses around, so in the end you're going to fight. This is Joker, probably Bane, I'm not sure, and I can't see what this one is. Anyway, you can just go in and we are going to play this game. And I'm just going to turn down the volume a little bit. As you can see, Batman is here, and yeah, in the end all you are going to do in this game is, as you can see, you have a health bar there, and all you are going to do is run around and kick people who are going to try to kill you. There they are. Kick, fight them in any kind of way. You have these two buttons to press there, and of course you can do jumps. Jumps are not very helpful. I thought at the start that you could do something with them, but yeah, not actually, because you are just jumping around, and I'm not sure, there's no side kick or whatever, or jump kick then that I could use. So in the end it's not really much to do there. And yeah, the game itself is pretty basic. You're just running around, trying to more or less lift this. There is a power-up stuff. So for instance, if you collect enough of these little icons that you already saw, that bonus icons there, you're going to get one more or less killer fighting style, whatever, where you really can more or less throw a bat around, so batarang or whatever. If you do that, all the different enemies which will be hit by it will of course go down, but nothing more. I don't know why we are doing that at the end. That's the problem with the whole game. It's pretty basic, it's nicely done. You can, for instance, go down, and it could be a great fighting game. And somehow it is. It's not bad at all, if you ask me. But yeah, controls are fine. You just would have to have some kind of more to do. So now we have this power up, more or less. Superpower is lauded, more or less, he's telling us there. And if we now do this, as you can see, all the different kinds of enemies on the screen at least, or maybe all over the whole play area, I'm not sure, are going to go down with that. You receive money and then you can go to the shop and buy stuff for it, but I'm still not sure if there is something happening in the next round or whatever, because I didn't make it till now, because in the end every time you are fighting somebody here, or maybe not every time, but most of the time you're going to get hit by him too, and like this you're really losing health pretty rapidly, and after a while it's over. Anyway, if you want to try it out, it's linked down below, and it should work pretty fine. It's nice to play if you just want to kick something for some kind of reason, then it's really a nice one, because exactly that's the game. And otherwise, yeah, just try it out if it's your game. I think it's a little bit basic to be something that you can play for a longer time, but whatever. Well, of course I will go out of this game now, and we are going to have a look at the last one. For that I'm just going to shut down everything. Edge, for instance, is just taking up RAM in the end if you are using it like that, so I'm not going to. This is of course something I didn't want to do, but in the end, as you can see, we are now back in Continuum mode, so I can show you that. If you want to really rapidly switch between those two modes, you can do it like this. Problem is if you want to go out again, you will have to go the route we already did there. So go to the settings again, go to the display settings, and then I'm just going to go to the mirror mode again, and we are in there. Third game is one that you will have to play again with this kind of switch off, so you will have to go to the mirror mode again, so we will have to do that. And it's called Zombie Doom HD. And Zombie Doom HD is exactly what you would suspect it to be if you already know what Doom is. So Doom is of course a first person shooter, more or less, not third person, first person. And it's more or less a very iconic game, you can see it here, where you are going to run around through different kinds of tunnels and stuff like that. And in this case you're going to really fight against zombies, something like this. and they're going to try to attack you, and it's a pretty good one. They're going to fire at you, they're going to try to run from you and stuff like that, so it's not bad. You will have even to fight some hostages you're trying to get out there, so it's not exactly Doom or whatever. It looks a little bit like a combination of Doom and maybe Wolfenstein 3D, if you know that game. And yeah, for that I'm just going to go into the options to show you some stuff here. As you can see, there are a couple of different things you can optimate here if you want to. For instance, do you really want to move it up and down, which is in this kind of game and with the smartphone really hard to do, so I would actually tell you, hey, get rid of that because you don't really need it in the game. Vibration, yes, no, I would always put that to no in the end. And how fast you're going to turn around and stuff like that is sometimes very helpful to put that down a little bit too, because you're going to play it on the smartphone. It's not going to be playable with these kind of input devices, which is a great shame because, yeah, first-person shooters, for instance, really work very, very well with a mouse like this, but whatever. So let's go out, and if I just go and click on play now, we are going to get the game itself. I'm going to turn around for it anyway, and yeah, as mentioned before, I'm going to use my smartphone here in this kind of fashion that I'm really going to use it on the game itself. And we can start a new game or continue where we left off. I'm going to start a new game in this case just to make sure that you can see what's happening here. As you can see, we are just selecting some kind of levels, so there are levels in there, and you can have power-ups or something like that. As you can see, we have collected already 6 money, whatever that is, and in there you can, for instance, use them to, for instance, do a half damage, double ammo, and so on and so forth. It's, yeah, all you can see there. Especially all keys, for instance, would be a very major one in other games like this, but in this game, for now at least, you really don't need anything. And as you already can see here, we have a pretty common setup, so you are going to have some kind of ammunition part there, you will have a health bar more or less, and of course by using your on-screen devices part here, you can go in and out. There is, for instance, some of the mummies or whatever, they are going to attack you when I fire on them. And I would highly recommend you to just try a little bit before you are going to run in there. We have full ammo now, so we should be ready to go. You don't have to exactly put your finger where you want to, but as you can see on the right side, you can turn around. This one is going to be used to more or less move into one of the directions. Fire can be pressed to attack the enemy, of course, and sometimes there is an action button, for instance, if you have to open doors or something. So let's see what we can achieve here. And as you can see, he is going to try to fire at me too, which is a little bit funny, because he is more or less firing at me like, I don't know, Iron Man or somebody would do. Anyway, with the hand open and holding it in my connection probably. Anyway, there's the action button. As you can see, we have to open this one. There is a hostage. No, it's not the hostage, it's one of the zombies, so be very careful, because there are different kinds of people around here. So, of course, hostages shouldn't be fired at. This one, for instance, is a hostage, just let it through. Otherwise you're going to have minus points. I'm not sure if you're really at the end going to die from it or something, but it's not a good idea to kill everybody in this game. And so like this, try it out like that. I'm going to try to go in this, and there we are. There are a couple of other zombies at the start. At the start, they're not going to see you in most of the cases. Sometimes they do. And of course you can run from the fireballs they're throwing at you and stuff like that if you are fast enough. There's another key we will need in this level more or less. So let's see what we can do with it. There's of course this kind of door. Let's see. Yeah, we can just open that right before the door. Of course, we are more or less in some kind of a... Whoa, okay, I dodged that one. We are, of course, more or less in some kind of a... Come on. No, he's gone. In the end, and another one. There are a lot of them. Good thing is they really die easily and you take not too much damage from whatever they are throwing at you. That will change over time, just to let you know. And there was, of course, a health package we even could collect here. And I'm just going to go in here and try to kill everybody. Not all the time they are going to see you. And one of the greatest things is that you can, even if you, for instance, open the door like that, you can most often just go back there, which is a good thing, to be able to kill everybody. So it's a really nice game if you like this kind of shooter gaming. Okay, nobody there. Let's see what we can find in this room. Okay, a hostage. We are not going to fire at him. As mentioned before, if you are firing it or him, I'm not sure what is really going to happen. Probably nothing, but he's not going to mean any harm. And if you are really killing him, there is some kind of a counter. Maybe at the end there is some kind of a, well, there is a score, so that one will probably be lower if you kill too many hostages. And here we have a couple of them. So make sure that you can really kill all of them. I find it a little bit hard on a smartphone to play this kind of game because I will always have to switch over and stuff like that. This one is a button, so activate it to do something. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, there is a door. We open it up. There is another zombie attack. Kill them. Okay. There we go. I absolutely like this kind of game in the end. It's fun to play, especially because I think that even though I don't like the smartphone kind style of fighting in this case, it's still better than in many other games. On this one, and there's another zombie, one that, yeah, okay, he can attack me too. I thought he was just a runner. But he isn't, he can shoot at me from a distance too. And like this, we can run around and do stuff. As you can see, it's really not hard to do in this case, because I have 100% health in the end. Can still run around here. Oh. And of course, as mentioned before, you can really just dodge a lot of stuff. Oh. Hello? Sorry. All the time pressing the wrong button, which is another problem. I really like the haptics of a mouse, for instance, where you can play these games much faster, much easier, don't have to switch all the time between controls and so. That's really a bad thing. And the second bad thing is that I don't know where to go. Okay, here. And this is more or less the level end, so you're just going to go to another level in this case, so it's downstairs here. And as you can see, we rescued 3 of the 3 hostages, which is a great thing. We had a bonus, so we can buy stuff like other power-ups later on. And of course, we didn't unlock any kind of secrets. There were 4 of them. I'm not sure what they are, so have a look at that. As you can see, health bar, and even you have ammo on that, and of course money and stuff like that. So everything was more or less fine, and it was a great run through in this case. Of course, it's a first level. There are going to be a lot more, some of them much more heavy to conquer. And yeah, just try it out. I really think it's a nice game, and you should really have a look at it. And with that, I would say we are through this episode. I hope, give me a sec, I'm just going to close this down so it's not going to bother us in the background. Yeah, with that said, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great time, have a great day. Of course, if you liked the episode, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, of course, do that now, it's down below, it's of course free of charge. And other than that, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, have a great time, have a great day, see you in the next episode, and bye.